Wow. That's saying, oh crap. Now this kind of sucks. It's not
What's wrong?
letting me go. Oh, it's not letting me go live anywhere. Hang on. So this is not letting me go live in my Facebook. It's not letting me go live on my page. I'm not going to be able to go live this month.
Are you sure? Do you have to
Uh,
just like click the little buttons to
oh no.
reconnect?
No, this is
So you're live on YouTube and LinkedIn
yep,
Are
and
you
on,
sick?
and on the page.
yeah.
So, all right, I'm in jail
You sick,
for
Susan? Sorry.
Yeah, Chris went and did a field trip with 2-year-olds because she's looking at early childhood. And one of them, they need to take that little kid and just send her as a care package somewhere as a bioterrorist because she
send her to
got Chris and
China.
they got me.
Ouch.
Send her to Beijing. All right, here you go. It's 2019 all over again in reverse. All right, well, this will get me kicked off the remaining platforms, but we're going to do this.
Are we live
So,
yet?
oh, we're live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and on the site. So I'm in Facebook jail because we posted a joke that was everywhere, but some asshole um, who didn't like it complained about it and said that it was
Community
promoting danger,
guidelines.
yeah, community guideline stuff. And so without a trial or anything, I got banned from apparently doing anything live on the Facebooks until the end of the month. So what we need to do, Susan, is in the future ones is just tell people, hey, look, show up to the website. That's why we broadcast to the website because, well, Facebook can smoke me like a
It's a good
two-bit
backup.
two-bit hooker. So here we go. Um, no offense to the two-bit hookers. So, Stu,
We ready to start?
I think it's over. No, I'm just playing. No, we're gonna start this thing. Do we have anybody on the site? Okay, cool. Well, welcome to today's private showing. Apparently, the little red-headed monkey takes offense at my jokes, and so there we go. So, 3, 2, 1. The key to open virtually any door of opportunity. Stu, do you know what that key is?
I do, Jim.
It's a book.
It's a book.
That's right. Absolutely. It is a book. A book can be used to open doors of opportunity with a whole lot of people in a whole lot of ways. And that's what we're going to be talking about today on today's copy and content.ai report. So let's fire this up, Stu.
Yeah,
What
let's
you
do
got
it.
for
So
me?
let's ask a question about how can you use a book to open doors of opportunity for you and your business?
So I think there's really 4 areas that you can use a book to open doors of opportunity in your business. And the first one is simply with your existing customers. People who know you, like you, trust you, have already spent money with you, can buy your book and just like you more. And it gives them something else to buy. It's a great idea to publish a book at least once a year and at a minimum, use it as a way to build your relationship with your customers. Now, whether you give it to them, sell them to them at a discount, sell it to them at full price, sell it to them as part of a funnel, whatever it is, doesn't matter. What matters is that you are sharing a piece of yourself with your customers. So that's one of the ways that you can open a door of opportunity with your people. Now, another way, Stu, is with people who haven't bought from you yet. Because tell me a little bit about how you build your business with books.
Well, you have customers, and
Uh-huh.
those customers are part of an email database,
Uh-huh.
right? But also have subscribers, whether that's social media subscribers and also subscribers to the newsletters that I send out.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times I'll send a newsletter. It's just my latest article of the week type of thing. And sometimes I'll even use a special newsletter fact, I do this every week for people who actually buy the newsletter, right? So I have a membership site who buys this newsletter, and this newsletter also gets them to be part of a database where they can see weeks and if not years of workouts that they can choose from and things like that, articles and videos. So I use multiple ways to do that, and whether it's articles, it's a book that I'm promoting, or whatever, it is getting more information out to customers, to subscribers, to just to maintain your relevancy in that genre.
Right. I think a big thing with the book also is that people who haven't bought from you yet, people who either don't know you or people who are subscribers but haven't bought yet, a book is an easy entry level buy. It's an easy, low risk way for someone to test the waters with you, to spend a relatively small amount of money to get a relatively large return. And they can see your philosophy, they can see your skill level, your knowledge level, just they get to know you as the celebrity or as the credible authority in your niche. That's one of the great things about a book, is that it's a low risk way for somebody to get to know you. So, and the last way that a book can really help you to open up doors of opportunity really quickly is with the media, because media being people, they're always looking for stories. They're always looking for experts and authorities that they can quote, that they can cite, that they can ask questions of. And a book is the measuring stick that people in the media use as to whether or not somebody's an expert. Given the choice between talking to person A, person B, person A has a couple of books, person B just says they're an expert, they're going to go with person A, because it also makes them look smart when they say, hey, according to Jim Edwards, the author of Copywriting Secrets, this is the key of a headline, for a headline. According to Stu Smith, the author of Navy SEAL Guide to Fitness, these are the 5 exercises you need to do. They're able to make themselves look smarter by associating with someone who is an expert in people's minds with a book. So that's really the main 4 ways. I mean, there are a lot of other ways that you can use a book, but those are the main big ways. Existing customers, people who know you haven't bought yet, people who don't know you yet, but can see that you've written a book and will be like, hey, I need to pay attention to them potentially. And then, of course, the media. And the media is a pretty broad definition now. Could be influencers, could be affiliate marketers, could be a whole bunch of different people.
Sure. Could be television interviews.
Oh, absolutely could be television. You could get on the National Geographic channel.
Yeah. Do fun stuff.
And shoot people in the face after sitting in an ice bath for a couple, 3 days. And those of you that are here with us live on various channels, tell us what you think. What do you think? Do you think a book is a great way to open a door of opportunity? Let us know what you think. You have our undivided attention.
Well, Jim, how about this one? How has a book opened opportunities for you in the past?
I think early on, the one that really, really stands out for me is my book got me into the New York Times. And this was back before the New York Times was a partisan rag, but was actually a trusted source of news around the world. So I'm going to go grab something real quick so you can see. But I had written my book on how to sell your house yourself, and I had been selling it online, not for actually too long, actually. And I got an email from a guy who said, "Hey, my name is so and so. I'm with the New York Times, and would you mind answering a couple questions?" And I'm like, "What? This has got to be a scam. This is not real." So, but anyway, I answered the guy's questions and ended up being quoted in this article that was on the front cover of the Sunday real estate section of the New York Times. And a different story about how I was actually able to get a copy of that paper to be able to see it. But I took my little book, and this is a thing that we put together that's got the book in it. We actually recorded a video version of the book, and this is back in 1997, 1998. But that opened a door of opportunity, understanding the importance of media, understanding that my stuff was that I had a real book, that somebody would see me as an expert because I had a book, even if it wasn't published on Amazon. And it was extremely helpful at that point to my self-esteem, because at the time I was living in a trailer park. I was bankrupt, living in a trailer park, selling a book about real estate, and didn't own any at the time. Now I own a ton, but it really, at the time, it was a big ego boost for me too. Just made me feel better about myself. So I will always be grateful for that opportunity, because if that hadn't happened, I don't think I would have had the courage to do what came next.
I would agree with that. I've had a few similar big publications. Do an article on my book, do a review on my books, and they were always a big bump, not only for monetary bumps, but they were also just a good bump for me with confidence, but also with extra. Somebody else sees that, and now they call and say, "Hey, let's have you on our show." And it goes from a newspaper to a magazine to a TV show, and it just evolves, just multiple different avenues of media.
Yeah, for 25, 26 years now, I'm riding the thing of, I've been featured in the New York Times. Absolutely true. Will be true forever. So, I mean, that right there, that was worth it. I've untold amounts of money made just being able to say that.
How about recently? Because, the media world has changed a little bit, and sometimes it might even be a little bit more difficult to get some of the, other types of media to see what you have. But what are some recent avenues you've gone?
I think again, one that, I mean, literally within the last couple of months, because of this book, I had a gentleman contact me who turns out is a guy named Brett Matsura, who is the international training director for Coldwell Banker Real Estate. What's up, Brett? It's like, he's in California. Might not even be awake yet. And he contacted me, and I was able to speak at the Coldwell Banker International Conference in Atlanta. And as a side note, they paid me more to speak than I made the entire year of 1999. So that was pretty cool. And
That's awesome.
That door was open because of this book. He bought this book. He ended up buying this book for all the people on his team and other training directors in their system. And it just kind of snowballed from there. So that was pretty cool. That was from a book. That's kind of neat. So that's an example. I don't really, honestly, don't try to get much media, quote unquote media, because it's a crapshoot, and I don't know. I'd rather try and get airtime with my customers or with people who have my customers in their audience.
I would agree with that. In fact, I have kind of evolved over the last probably 5 years to if I do get some kind of speaking engagement, like at a conference or something, I will absolutely, do that one. But really, it's creating content for my own media company, which I call social media,
Right.
because I'm not a fitness guy that sells fitness. I'm a media guy that sells fitness. Yeah. So.
Wow. Now
Yeah.
we got a comment from Randy. I can't share it because, well, mechanically, but this is really cool. Randy Van Ittersum says, I wrote a book with 10 different attorneys, and one of them sends out 3,000 books every year and figures she makes over 2 million a year in fees because of it. Holy crap.
Damn,
what would happen if she sent 6,000 books?
that's a good business card.
Yeah, that's awesome. Bass Lessons with Kevin says, I self-published an ebook, bass player, musician, and it's a very nice to have. Excellent. David said it also helps create confidence in yourself. It demonstrates to you that you know something that will help others. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Perfect.
Yeah, it helps you battle that imposter syndrome.
Right.
Really does.
Absolutely. It's like, yes. And anytime, and that happens to all of us sometimes, even Stu. I know that's impossible to believe, but occasionally Stu has lapses in superhumanness. But that's, you can always look at your book and say, you know what, I did that and it's good. And it's not just me saying it's good or my mom saying it's good, but it's good. And I've had people tell me it's good. Darn it, I'm smart and people like me, Stu.
Well, let's go on a different angle of this one, Jim, and just like, why do these books work? Like, what is happening when you have a book? Why is it opening up a door of opportunity?
So I think, and this is when I should probably go to the board. I think it does it for a couple of reasons, but at the core of it is when we think of authority and when somebody has authority, and what is a definition of authority? It's knowledge and expertise in a given area. Okay, there's a good quickie definition of authority. Well, you can't have authority without first author. And that's not just a convenient play on words, but it's absolutely the truth. All right. We've been conditioned since we were little kids that the person who writes the book is the expert. Now in college, it cost us, this didn't happen to you, Stu, but for those of us who went to civilian college, we often were put in a position where the professor had written a book that they wanted you to have to pay $200, $300, $400 for, because that chucklehead couldn't sell that book to anyone other than the poor rubes who needed those credits in order to get the degree. But in the real world, book equals expert. Being an author makes you an expert. We've just been conditioned since we were kids. Someone who is an author, someone who is an expert is held at a higher level, is given more esteem, is given more credibility, is given more celebrity than someone who is not. And the great thing with writing a book now is you don't have to struggle in your attic for years and months at the keyboard to get it done. There are a lot of faster ways to do it. But that's the bottom line, is that it opens doors of opportunity because we've been conditioned to the person that's knocking on the door who has a book is absolutely someone that we should pay attention to.
Cool. Now, do you have any examples of, someone or even yourself, topic in action?
So a couple things that jump out to me, like using a book as a way to do that, is my buddy Suzanne Hetz, who is a PhD, and she wrote a book in one of our programs called here, I'll zoom in on it. But she did a book called 12 Terrible Dog Training Mistakes Owners Make That Ruin Their Dog's Behavior and How to Avoid Them. So I believe, Stu, were you in the group when we did this one? You were in the group with her. Wait, this was a while ago.
It was a very long time ago, and I remember that is one. I remember saying that's genius, and I think you and I both had the same suggestion of now let's do one for Beagles. Now let's do one for
Right.
Great Danes. Now let's do that.
Right.
Like if that was me, I would write a book every quarter for the next 2-3 years on all the different
Right.
breeds of dogs and their little differences.
So, and that was, you did your PT training. Was that was the same program where we got you to #1 on Amazon for
Yes.
the first time? Everybody who was in that pretty much made it to #1 on Amazon.
Yeah.
Because what we were teaching and what we still teach works. It just works. It does what it needs to do. So what Suzanne did, though, was she created this book with a purpose. #1, she wanted to write another book, become a #1 Amazon bestseller. #2, she wanted to create something that she could sell to her existing members because she had a really cool membership site, dog behavior stuff. She also wanted to have something she could use to get more members in. So it was really smart. What she did was she gave it to existing members at a discount. #2, she used it as a bonus during a promotion to get people into her membership site. And then she, by sending out press releases and doing other stuff, this was the super cool, unexpected part. She actually got contacted by a local TV personality, like the local big star. And they ended up doing a story on her in the book. And they ended up doing a limited TV series with her. So she got a ton of local exposure, she did this perfectly as far as I was concerned. Everything she did about this, she just did it. That was a great thing about Suzanne, man. She just does what she needs to do. She since, I believe, has sold the business and is happily retired, but she was crushing it with that book. So that's just an example of a customer that did the drill, didn't argue, didn't bargain with the process, just freaking did it and crushed with it.
Yeah, that's an awesome story. I remember being inspired by that one for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Now, yeah, I can say, and I can also see that, with this, you can also expand your reach by partnering with other people. So, what are some ways that, use your book to help you partner, with other businesses, other people, things like that?
So one way that a book can help you with doing a joint venture or partnering with somebody is to just use it as an introductory tool. Use it as a way to introduce yourself. Hey, what would I do? Send this to somebody I want to do business with. Send them a copy of my book and say, hey, would love to get together with you for a cup of coffee over Zoom. That's something I do all the time. Want to get together with you for a cup of coffee over Zoom. I might even include a copy of my book and a $5 Starbucks gift card. The coffee's on me. As long as you don't get one of them frappa wappuccino mocha thisy thaty skinny latte thing, because them get up about $10. But if you're willing to do like an Americano, then $5 will cover it now. But that's a great, that just right there is $1 million tip. You send somebody a copy of your book with a Starbucks gift card that says, would love to get together with you for Zoom coffee. And I guarantee you that unless the person is a complete asshat, or there's, you're trying to get Tony Robbins to jump on a Zoom with you, and you just want to have a chat, get to know you type thing. Not, hey, I want to get on Zoom with you and pitch you and hammer you for 20 minutes, So make sure you strap into your chair because it's going to be brutal. It's like a get to know you type thing. That's one way I have used my books in the past. Another way that you can use a book to create a partnership or to start the process of a relationship with somebody is if they have a book. Now I'm going to tell you a quick story. This is another like total turning point in my life, that a book, somebody else's book, actually precipitated that. And so I had been selling my book online for I'd been selling it for 4 years, 3.5 years. And I was following a guy named Joe Vitale who had written a book called Hypnotic Writing. And I thought it was a really good book. And at this time, I had 3 ebooks that I was selling online. And I had people starting to ask me, how are you doing this? I'd like to do this. I see you selling your books. I guess you're making money. I was making a decent little, I was making decent money. And so I just one day had this idea, hey, Joe's got a following. He's got this book. What if we took my process and his credibility and his thing, and let's write a book about how to write and publish your own ebook in as little as 7 days. Just popped into my head. So I approached him, and because I had done these other 3 books and I had already started to develop somewhat of a relationship with him, he knew who I was. I sent him an email, real simple pitch. Hey, Joe, love this book. I got this. This is my process. I'd like to take your book, my process. I'll write the book, how to write and publish your own ebook in as little as 7 days. Put your name on it. You help me promote it. We'll split the money 50-50. Took him 5 minutes to reply back with a, sure, let's do it. So I used the fact that I had a book, the fact that he had a book, and I said, hey, let's do a book together. Now, that's one example of me using a book, and books are kind of at the center of this thing. And then I went through this process over the next few years where the book was almost like a way to have a baby with somebody else. Because when you create that joint venture around a book, it creates something that you both have a vested interest in. So move on about 6 months. I had met, this is February of 2001. I spoke at a conference, met a guy named Yannick Silver, young copywriter, medical equipment salesman. He was an up and comer on his way, and we just struck up a friendship. I helped him with some stuff. I helped him get a site #1 on Yahoo at the time. We were within 6-7 years of each other. I was older, but we just struck up a friendship. And so fast forward to June of that same year, I got fired from my job, and I sent him an email, and he was like, congratulations. I'm like, what are you saying? He said, the universe has set you free, man. You're so much more than what you're doing. So we ended up jumping on the phone that night when I got fired. And long story short, we said, we should write a book together. So we wrote a book. We sat down and we outlined the book right there. I remember exactly where I was sitting. We outlined the book. Within a couple months, we had it done. And by the end of the year, we had sold $250,000 worth of that book and the accompanying video program that went with it. Now, this is not an income claim. Your results will vary. But again, a book is a way to either open a door. A book is a way to create a joint venture with somebody. A book is a way to just barge your way in with somebody. With Joe, I wrote the book. Okay, just truth be told, I did everything, including the sales letter. Joe passed blessing on it, sent an email to his list, and I made more in a month than I'd made the previous year. So I
Nice.
was like, okay, that's good. With Yannick and I split the duties real well, evenly, 50-50. We truly co-authored that book. And he's been a great friend ever since. So those are a couple of ways. I mean, other ways that you can use a book. I've done it. You can use a book as a calling card at an event. I have leveraged books at events very, very effectively. You load up your backpack with your book, and when you meet somebody that you think is really cool, you say, and after you talk to them, hey, I'd like to give you something. And you don't reach in your bag and show them that you got 50 of these things in there. You say, hey, I think I got something for you, and you turn around and pull it out. And then here's the thing: is what you do. You got to whip that puppy out, turn to the title page, and you need to write in the book to them, hey, Stu, really enjoyed meeting you. Let's connect, Jim. Here you go. Now, that's how you make an impression at an event. Not just, hey, would you like a copy of my book? You gotta do the thing with it. You gotta sign it, and after you've met with somebody. It's not it's not like a piece of trash you're trying to get off your shoe that you want to. It's only given out after you've made a connection with somebody.
Now
So,
that's really good. It seems like you have a really good method of approaching potential partners.
oh yeah, I mean,
It's obvious. You're telling us, how you've done it. Is there a
yeah,
way to make it easier?
uh, yeah. I mean, there's a genie for that. Is that what you're
Sweet. That's
asking?
what I'm asking. Is there a genie
Okay.
for that?
So if I was going to contact a potential joint venture partner with my book, there's a couple, three ways you could do it. All right. One, you could do the, hey, wanted to send you a copy of my book and see if you'd be available for some coffee on Zoom. In fact, here's a Starbucks gift card. Another way you could do it is to um, ask them if you could send them a copy of your book. Now, me personally, if I'm going to send the book, it's because I want to talk to them. So me personally, I wouldn't send an email or a letter asking if I could send the book. I would just send the freaking book. But in some cases, I can see where it would be like, would you like a copy? Would you like a review copy? Would you whatever? You're just trying to start that thing up. And then I would also potentially use the genie to write a follow-up. But if I was going to try to leverage my book to get my foot in the door with somebody, what I would do would be to send them a copy of the book and ask them to jump on Zoom with me, just for a quick meeting. I mean, this it's almost like cheating. So if we were going to use the email composer genie and pick out somebody, again, you can't just send this out to. I'm not going to send this to Tony Robbins. Okay. So pick some. I mean, if I was going to try and approach Stu, okay. So my target audience is Stu Smith, former Navy SEAL. All right. So what's the purpose of my email message? Send Stu a copy of my book and invite him to jump on Zoom for a cup of coffee. What do I want to cover? Love your stuff. Think your copywriting, I think your storytelling in your newsletter is great. Have bought 2 of your books. Have an idea for a podcast episode to promote you to our audience. Here's a copy of my book, and a Starbucks gift card. Would you be interested in jumping on Zoom for a 20-minute coffee chat? Okay, so, what's in here, okay? Paid him a compliment. I mean, this is just automatic too. Paid him a compliment. Think what you're doing is great. I've actually bought something from you, so it induces reciprocity. Here's why I'm contacting you. Oh, and there's something in it for you to promote you to our audience. Here's a gift. Actually, here's 2 gifts, and here's a low barrier of entry thing that I want you to do. So what do I want him to do? Reply back and let me know if you'd like to have a quick visit. I think we can get you some great exposure. All right, so we're gonna do friendly, and let's do good housekeeping, active, beginner, perspective, second. Disc, I'm gonna do I, and I'll do myself. Okay, so now I'm just gonna ask it to write a couple, 3 different emails for me, and let's see what it comes up with. Okay, subject, a gift for you and an invitation to chat. Hey, Stu, I hope this email finds you well. I just want to take a moment to tell how much I admire your work. I love your stuff and think your storytelling, your newsletter is absolutely great. In fact, I bought 2 of your books and have enjoyed every page. I also have an idea for a podcast episode I think could really help promote you to our audience. I'd love to discuss it with you at your convenience. As a token of my appreciation, I'm sending you a copy of my book, Copywriting Secrets, and a Starbucks gift card. I thought it might be nice to jump on Zoom for a 20-minute coffee chat. Would you be interested? Just reply back and let me know if we can have a quick visit. I truly believe this could be a great opportunity to get you some fantastic exposure. Look forward to hearing from you soon. P.S. Can't wait to your reply. Means a lot. I mean, dude, is that a weird email or is that like, holy crap? That's like,
no, it's very nice.
Yeah. I mean, I would have no problem sending that. The only thing I might add would be, hey, Stu, I'm a customer and a longtime fan. I might do that at the beginning. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of goofy. I wouldn't say that, but somebody might.
Hmm.
But, this is going to write a couple different versions of it. Anyway, I mean, it's just writing a couple, 3 different versions of it, but that's the gist of it, is that that's all it really takes. Okay. So now you say, well, wait a minute. You can't send him a book through email, Jim. Yeah, no kidding, Chuckles. So you can send him a link to download your ebook, or you can modify it to say, hey, I sent it to I sent the book to your address that's listed on your website, and you could print this email out and include it with the book, with the physical Starbucks gift card, or you could send them the ebook version and you could send them an electronic Starbucks gift card. So it just depends on how you want to do it. But the upshot is that this works. This is how you get people to pay attention to you. You give them something. You give them something of value, which is your book. You give them a reason to pay attention to you. Hey, this is going to get you exposure. This is going to help you make money. This is going to save you a bunch of time. This is going to help you get more subscribers. Okay. And then there's a low barrier to entry. There's a low commitment. I would just love to get together with you 15, 20 minutes, have a cup of coffee on Zoom. I mean, I can suck down a cup of coffee in about 5 minutes. So, and anyway, that's how a genie could help you. Now, of course, we have, a gajillion genies that will help write the whole freaking book for you. you're like, well, Jim, that all sounds great. I don't have a book. Well, guess what? We got a book writing challenge coming up that help you to write your book using AI to do all the heavy lifting. This is the third or fourth time we've done it. We're doing a different book each time, different type of book each time. This one we wrote right here has been crushing it for helping us get people. And we wrote first draft of this, absolutely written with the genies. Now, did I pour my soul into it? Absolutely. Did we make it amazing? Absolutely. So, that the excuse of, hey, that sounds great, except I ain't got a book. Well, hey, a couple of my biggest success stories were with somebody that we wrote a book together. The whole pitch was, let's create a book. In fact, Stu Smith and I wrote a book together.
Yep.
So
and I actually pitched you on that one.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Jim. So you've had some successes with sending emails and talking to people about becoming partners or getting them on your podcast. Who are the best people to approach in your world? Who are the best groups of people to approach to with your book for a door opener?
So here's the reality when it comes to approaching people with your book. Okay. And so Tony Robbins is not going to respond to me. Sorry. It's just not. He's up here. I'm here. So whether that matters or not doesn't. And I know some of the really self-actualized people, well, as long as you claim that, Jim, you will never be. No, Tony Robbins ain't responding to me.
Hey, I got a quick story. Tony Robbins called me.
He robocalled you?
No, he called me. We were talking.
Like the real Tony Robbins
Tony
or some
Robbins,
other dude?
No,
okay, I want to hear. Okay, we're going to time out on everything I just did. You're gonna
Unfortunately, it went nowhere.
Okay, but when did this happen?
Like 2002, 2003.
Okay. All right. And give us a background. What did he call you about? What did he want?
It was all about my Navy SEAL fitness book.
Okay.
So he had it. Somebody given it to him. I did not give it to him.
Uh-huh.
He just called me to tell me that he really liked it and we should consider doing something. And I was like, okay, let's do it. I'm all over it. Yeah. So no, it was unfortunately nothing ever came out of it. And I was in California. I was trying to meet up with him in La Jolla. There was a whole bunch of different things that just didn't happen. And I was like, I'm moving on.
Yeah.
But it was exciting.
Okay.
So that was all from a book.
Okay. So let me take this back over and say, the chances of me talking to Tony Robbins and something actually coming of it are slim to none. Okay.
There you go.
I actually know some background to some things that were going on at that time that you probably better.
Yeah, it was a mess.
He didn't. You're better off that he did.
It was a mess at the time, and I was like, I wasn't really that concerned.
Right. So, what I'm looking for are people who are here and here to me, like a lateral or slightly above. And what's my evaluation criteria? They have the audience that I want, and they have credibility that I can borrow or tag along with. That's my big criteria for who am I looking at. And I don't need somebody famous to the whole world. What I want are people who are famous to the people that I want to connect with. So someone who might be perfect for me to connect with and do something with, you might never have even heard of. And that's fine. Or my mom's never heard of. Also, what I look at is not just audience and credibility, but also workload. What is the workload that I'm going to have to either take on or that they're willing to take on? And it really comes down to time, energy, and money. Remember that. Time, energy, and money. If you don't have much money, you better have a whole lot of time and energy. That's what I did with Joe Vitale. It's like, I got nothing. I'm living in a trailer park, dude. I figured out how to write and sell ebooks and I'm doing okay with it. And I got people asking me. And so here's my idea. And time, energy, money, and resources would be the other one. Time, energy, money, resources, skill, and knowledge. So I had skill and knowledge, time and energy. Didn't have any money. I didn't have any resources. Joe had a list and had a reputation. So I'm like, okay, how can I leverage what he's doing with the book? So it made perfect sense. And I can contact him. I can get up with him. So he's reachable and he's got those criteria. Okay, now Yannick didn't have a very big audience, but he knew a bunch of people. So, we shared the time, energy. He fronted the money for a bunch of stuff we had to have done. And so that's kind of the balancing act of what you're looking for. But what you don't want is somebody who ain't got no time, ain't got no energy, ain't got no money, resources, skill, but yet they want to come in as a half partner with you and have you do all the work. Now, you think on the surface, nobody'd be that dumb. Yes, they would. Mm-hmm. Because people are lonely and they're scared, and it's a scary thing to be by yourself. So anybody's better than being by yourself. That's why a whole bunch of marriages break up. Okay. Anybody, and they're paying attention to me, and I don't want to be alone. So you have to evaluate yourself, your own time, energy, money, resources, skills, and knowledge, and find somebody. Remember I said that, it was like coming, bunch of people I did stuff with, was like coming together and having a baby. We're going to raise it. We're going to educate it, clothe it, pat it on the ass, put it out the door. Some of those kids grew up to get graduate degrees. Others are little gutter snipes living in the, not in a nice place. We had to sell them. But that's your criteria. So can I reach them? Can I reach them through someone else? Now, you also don't want to be in a position mentally where you never grasp, it's okay to reach for the stars. You might touch the moon, but you're not going to grab a handful of mud if you're reaching up. But you also want to be realistic. You want to up your game. My first car was a Ford Festiva. My last car was a Rolls Royce. But there were cars in between.
Sure.
So.
All right. So last question, Jim, on the book. So you got any final suggestions for us? Things that tend to happen, pros or cons, false beliefs, those type of things that come when you really want to write a book and you get started. Like, what are some things that we need to also consider?
I think some of the things that you really need to think about when it comes to doing a book. All right. Number one, get real clear on the why you're writing the book. What is the purpose? Because without a purpose, you're just kind of writing a book for the sake of writing a book. I mean, the dumbest thing you can do is decide to write a book and then sit down and write a book from scratch and then go in search of a publisher. Ooh. Or to just sit down and write a book from scratch and then put it up on Amazon, because nothing's going to happen. I mean, it's a great mental exercise, but it's not a great financial exercise. So why are you writing the book? How's it going to help you with the business? Who's going to buy it? Who is the person that's the perfect person to buy this book? And then also ask the question of who already has those people, and how could I partner them with them in some way with my book? whether it's advertising, promotion, a story, an interview. How could I make my book more valuable to them than it is even to me? That's an interesting question to ask. So next, you got to understand that you ain't trying to get a Pulitzer. And there is absolutely nothing impressive about the fact of saying, yeah, I spent 2 years writing my book. Because your mom might be, man, he really has stick-to-itiveness. I'm going to look at you like you're stupid. Okay. Nobody cares. Nobody asks you who's your publisher and how long did it take you to write the book? What they're going to ask is it any good? Is it going to help solve a problem, create a result for somebody? And is it for sale on Amazon? Because that's what makes it a real book. So in the end, it's knowing why you're writing the book, who you're writing it for, how it's going to help you build your business, having a strategy for getting it done fast, and getting it done and then actually using it as a business tool. Because putting it up on Amazon is not the end of the process. It is simply the beginning.
Absolutely. Hey, another one I have found, and once you get over this hump,
Mhm.
you can make more money than you ever imagined.
What's
Okay.
that?
And that is thinking you're going to retire and live off royalties for the rest of your life after you write this book.
Uh-huh. I thought that.
Yeah, I thought it too. I was like, this is awesome. Don't need to go to work. I'm like, nope, that's exactly what you need to do. Now you
Yeah.
got it published. It's time to go to work.
Yes.
But you can leverage it to make your work 10 times better.
And 10 times more profitable.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. So those are my final thoughts.
I like that.
So
what's coming up next with copy and content?
Well,
AI.
I can tell you that we have another one of our Write Your Book.ai sprints, or excuse me, challenges coming up. We're running a special right now. If you go to copyandcontent.ai, you won't find it. But if you go to writeyourbook.ai, you will find it. If you are a member of copyandcontent.ai and you come in at the, well, let me take that back. If you're already a member and you're paying annually, you actually have access to the on-demand challenge, the very first one we did. So if you wanted to actually write a book before even we do the next live challenge, you could absolutely do that if you're in copyandcontent.ai under the annual plan. If you're not a member, go to copyandcontent.ai, join under the annual plan, and you can get access, that on-demand access to that first challenge that we did. But I would just tell everybody the best thing you could ever do for your business is write a book. And if you've already written a book, the best thing you could do for your business would be to write another book and to use that tool on purpose from the beginning to build your business. Most people do their first book and their last book by accident. There's a strategy, there's a purpose, there's a reason, there's a track, there's a pattern, there's a blueprint that when you do it the right way, that book really becomes the hub of your whole business, no matter what you sell.
Hey, as I recall, the book program that they have access to is a mistakes book, correct?
Yep. Mistakes.
And let me tell you, Jim sold me on writing a mistakes book years ago because we're all experts at making mistakes. And when he told me that, I was like, man, that makes so much sense. I got plenty to write about.
Yeah, we're all experts at what not to do. Yes, absolutely. So, if you want to get it done before the end of the year, you can do it. If you want to get it done right at the beginning of the year, we got that for you too. However you want to do it, we got you covered. So I would just encourage you, no matter how you get it done, because best thing you can do is look in the mirror and say, I'm an author. And with that note, we'll let you go. Everybody have a great day. Next time we'll see where they'll let us go live and where they won't. So we appreciate y'all. Have a great day. Great job, Stu.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.